नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। नारायणं नमस्कृत्यं नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवी सरस्वती व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्। नष्टप्रायेषु अभद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवतीमुत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टकी। Granraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. So we're reading Srimad Bhagavatam, 3rd canto, 27th chapter, titled as Understanding Material Nature. Kapila Dev is explaining to Mata Devotee about Sankhya Yoga. The spirit soul, which is pure by nature, when it comes in contact with the material nature, which has three qualities, Sattva Guna, Rajoguna and Tamoguna, the spirit soul becomes contaminated by the three modes of nature. And under the influence of these three modes of nature, the spirit soul identifies oneself with the body. And then the spirit soul, under the influence of false ego, thinks oneself to be the enjoyer or the proprietor. And because of this tendency of spirit soul, one has to take repeated birth again and again into the various species or yonis of life. And to get out of this material entanglement of repeated birth and death, Kapila Dev is explaining to Mata Devhuti that one has to become faithfully engaged in the devotional service of Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Shri Krishna. And by chanting and hearing Krishna's name, one can become free from this entanglement of repeated birth and death. Further, Kapila Dev is explaining to Mata Devhuti about the qualities of a person who is engaged in devotional service and who is engaged in hearing Shravanam and reciting Kirtanam about Krishna Katha. When one becomes a devotee, he has following qualities. In this shloka, Kapila Dev is explaining about the quality of a devotee. He's saying, Sarva Bhuta Samatvena Nirverena Prasangataha Brahmacharyena Maunena Swadharmena Baliyasa. Sarva Bhuta Samatvena. What does that mean? Sarva Bhuta, towards the all living entities, Samatvena, seeing with the equal vision. A devotee of Lord, he does not discriminate. He sees everybody with the equal vision. Then he says, Nirvairenena aprasangataha. Nirvairenena, which means no animosity. Aprasangata, without any intimate connections, without too much attachment. Brahmacharyena, the devotee is very celibate. Maunena, he does not speak unnecessarily. Swadharmena baliyasa, and by one's occupation, he is offering whatever he obtains, he offers the results of those occupational duties to Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Shri Krishna. So here, the qualities of devotees are mentioned here. In executing the devotional service, one has to see every living entity equally, without enmity towards anyone, yet without intimate connections with anyone. One is to observe celibacy, be grave and execute his eternal activities, offering the results to Supreme Personality of Godhead. Right? So here Kapila Dev is explaining to Mata Devhuti what are the qualities of a devotee. A devotee should be like this. While executing the devotional service, one has to have these qualities. What are those? Here Srila Prabhupada is explaining them in detail. A devotee of Supreme Personality of Godhead who seriously engages in devotional service is equal to all the living entities. So whether one is young or old, rich or poor, human or animal or bird or insect, a devotee sees equally with equal vision. Sama drashti. He does not discriminate. Why? Because a devotee does not see the outward covering of a person, but he sees the inner soul inhabiting the body. He sees that every living entity is a spirit soul, and the body is just a different, but not to worry about the body because the soul is the same. Further, in each and every living entity, there is a spirit soul, super soul. There is a soul, and then there is super soul, Supreme Personality of Godhead, Paramatma. Right? So, devotee will see the Atma and Paramatma within everyone, including all the animals and birds and reptiles and all insects. So, one has to be very equal to everybody, tolerant. That is the vision of learned devotee, to see Paramatma within everybody's heart. Pandita sama darshina sarva bhutesu, towards all living entities with equal vision, and see Paramatma within everybody's heart. As explained in Bhagavad Gita, a devotee or a learned sage does not see any difference between a brahmana, a dog, elephant, cow, because he knows that body is the outer covering only, and the soul is actually the part and parcel of Supreme Personality of Godhead. Right? So devotee does not see anybody, all the living entities with the outer covering. He knows that even though the outer covering is made up of muscle, bone, and material elements, but inner covering, inner person is the Atma. So he does see everybody with the equal vision. A devotee has no enmity towards any living entities, but that does not mean that he mixes with anyone and everyone. So a devotee does not have any animosity. He is not envious. But also while associating with the people around him, a devotee is very careful and not to associate with materialistic people. That is prohibited. Aprasangata means not to be intimate in touch with everyone. A devotee is concerned with his execution of devotional service, and he should therefore mix with devotees only in order to advance in this objective. He has no business of mixing with others, for although he does not see anyone as enemy, his dealings are only with the person who are engaged in devotional service. So devotee is very careful, making sure that the association helps him and not degrade him to the lower platform. A devotee should observe the vow of celibacy. Celibacy does not necessitate that one should be absolutely free from sexual life. Satisfaction with one's wife is permitted also under the vow of celibacy. The best policy is avoid sexual life together. That is preferable. Otherwise, a devotee can get married under religious principles and live peacefully with a wife. A devotee should not speak unnecessarily. So this is another quality of a devotee. So he is mauna. Mauna means avoiding unnecessary talks. Mauna actually means silence, but silence doesn't mean that one should not speak at all. But he should speak only related to Krishna and not to speak nonsense. Another important quality described here is swadharmena, or being exclusively occupied in one's eternal occupation, which is our real dharma is Krishna dharma, to serve to Krishna. The next word is balisya, means offering the results of activities to Supreme Personality of Godhead. A devotee does not act on his personal account for sense gratification. Whatever he earns, whatever he eats, whatever he does, he offers for the satisfaction of Supreme Personality of Godhead. So that is one of the important quality of a devotee is Bali Yashya. Bali Yashya means offering everything what one has as a sacrifice to Lord Vishnu. So here we can see some of the qualities of a devotee that helps him to go near to Krishna. And some of the qualities are non-envious, equal to all the living entities with equal vision. And even though one is not envious to anybody, but one avoids connection with people who are materialistic. And one devotee is very sincere, he avoids unnecessary talks, and he observes the vow of celibacy and offers himself for service of Krishna. So these are some of the qualities of a devotee. So we'll continue this discussion tomorrow. Rudraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai.